And the
The
Dolphins,
Jets.
they are starting to form and show us that they can be some contenders. At least give the Bills every now and then some trouble. I think again the Bills are gonna easily be at the top of this division at least for the next 5-6 years with Josh Allen at the helm. With that said, though, it is very entertaining to see Salah's defense and the way that they're starting to get that thing going. I mean, Quinton Williams was an entertaining player to watch today in those games. And with Tua, I mean, it's hard, to see the Dolphins get off on such a hot start of the season and Tua go out, and then Teddy Bridgewater, which I picked Teddy Bridgewater up as my fantasy quarterback, and he scored me 0 points. So still hurting about that last week. But that
Yeah, your
said,
fantasy game is struggling right
oh
now.
my goodness.
No,
I,
sorry,
I,
bro.
I got I got four. Like I said, I got 4 alerts this past Saturday. Oh, someone in your starting lineup has just been ruled out, and I was like, "What the heck am I about to do?" I had actually 3 players on the Jets in my starting lineup this week.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Well, that could be good for you, depending on who they are.
exactly.
Because my biggest surprise for sure is the Jets. Like, I thought they were on the right path, but I didn't think they'd be 4-2 right now.
No, well, that
That's
was
nuts.
thanks to the tried and true veteran Joe Flacco. I mean,
Joe Flacco held
stepping up to
steady the
plate.
ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say, I think Zach Wilson's even a better fit for them because he's mobile, and that line is probably the weakest part of that
Oh
team.
yeah, I agree.
And so he's able to move about back there. But Flacco did pretty good. And the Jets hitting on all their picks, like Quentin Williams, you mentioned.
Mhm.
Sauce Gardner, I will get to him later. I love watching him play football.
Absolutely.
Brees Hall was, if you listen to the podcast, I thought he wasn't gonna take over the reins so soon, but
Right.
I mean they have to. Like he is outperforming Carr. He looks like the real deal. So I'm
For
happy
sure.
about that, even though it makes me look stupid. I'm happy about it because I like out of Iowa State. I mean, he seems like a good guy. And then Zach Wilson obviously might not be a good guy, but
yeah, those things are questionable. But
but as a
football.
quarterback, he seems like he might be the guy. Like when he
Absolutely.
plays, there's something there
Yeah.
for the Jets. I mean, that's just kind of a fun team to watch right now.
Yeah.
And then my biggest disappointment, obviously, is the Tua injury. Like, talk about great guys. He seems
So
like such
hard.
a genuine man, and everyone talks nothing but good things about him. And
Yeah.
you just hate to see concussions in football, and
Mhm.
just the whole way that all went down just seems
Yeah.
slimy.
Very,
So.
very ugly. And man, if I'm the doctor that cleared that game that he played and got hurt in, I mean, I am obviously he already lost his job, but I'm beside myself. But at the end of the day, some of those things are a part of football, and I say if they gave Tua the chance to play that game, he would have been in and playing that game regardless. So
Yeah.
Just the results of the game sometimes, but it is such a unfortunate circumstance in the ways that it played out.
Hopefully he'll fully recover, and I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to quit, but I don't think he's gonna. I think he'll keep going, and hopefully he just has the same success that he was having beforehand.
Absolutely.
My favorite story is Bailey Zappi. Did you know about him before this year?
I did not. No, not
Yeah,
at
I don't think a lot of people did. I did. I mean, because he's a big college, like he set records in college at Western Kentucky, and his offensive coordinator is now the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech. So I followed this kid, and also he played for Houston Baptist when they almost beat us. They almost beat Tech. I could not believe it, and it's because this kid, he is a good quarterback. He was so he went to Houston Baptist, set records all for them, then went to Western Kentucky, set records all for them. Out of high school, he didn't have any FBS offers. And many said due to his lack of talent, he should not be drafted. And then, of course, that means the Pats are like, okay, well, we'll draft him and prove you wrong. So they drafted him in the 4th round. And he's playing so well right now that there might be a QB competition between him and Mac Jones. Like, today he threw 24 of 34 passes, had 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they won.
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But
it's so cool.
I definitely say that is definitely a college for a QB battle in New England because they need to figure something out.
I mean, he's already outplayed Mac Jones. Mac Jones was throwing pick after pick.
Golly, I mean, Mac Jones just seems so uncomfortable on the field. It is crazy. I just don't know. I
I
felt
mean,
like
last year I thought he was okay.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think last year he kind of was still a little green, and so he was willing to do some things and try to figure out his game in the NFL. But I feel like this year he's like almost like starstruck and doesn't really know what to do and how to make plays happen and just play football. I mean, he was so great at Alabama because you could tell he understood the game. I mean, he was a facilitator on the field and
Mm-hmm.
knew that he wasn't the most athletic person, but he knew how to make plays happen. But I just feel like all that has just like gone out the window, and maybe that's kind of what happens when you come from Alabama to, which it seems like it should translate pretty well. You come from Alabama under Nick Saban and then into a system like Bill Belichick. It seems like he would have thrived in it, but man, it is definitely not look promising for him.
As much as that sucks for Mac Jones, I am just pumped about Bailey Zappi.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can put together too.
you got anything else for AFC East?
Nope. Just glad to see Patriots at the bottom.
Next, we'll go AFC West. So we got the Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. My favorite story is always going to be Patrick Mahomes. What an amazing, amazing man! And everyone said that he was going to fall off a cliff without his Tyreek Hill, and he's still just slinging it and playing amazing. And he's just so good. Oh, he's so good. He would have been we'll get to that at the end. But so he's always my favorite story. Hopefully they win another Super Bowl if the Cowboys don't do it.
Gosh, I can't tell you. I mean, hopefully there's some other people that are kind of on the same boat as me that almost gag when you start speaking about Patrick Mahomes and your fangirl.
It's because he's good. No one felt that way until he just got good, and now everyone's tired of him.
Oh my goodness! Listen,
he's already reaching Tom Brady levels of hate.
Okay, well let's be easy. Okay, let's just be clear. I have always been
whatever.
non-fan of Patrick Mahomes, but that's it.
Whatever.
He listen. I did it with Brady. I did it with even kind of jumping in a little bit with NBA a little bit. I did it with Braun for a while. There's just so much you hate that you can give to somebody, but when they are just showing that they are the most dominant people in their profession, I mean, there's only so much you can do, and then you got to sit back and watch greatness happen. And
amen. That's right.
That said, I don't think I don't want to give Patrick Mahomes that status yet, but he is definitely a good player. And,
he's doing things no one's done their first 2 years of starting. So this is his third year. He's just killing it. So, what about you? You got a favorite story there?
My favorite story is seeing Russell suck as bad as he is.
That's my biggest surprise.
Yeah,
dude, why is he so bad? What happened?
I don't know, but I guess Pete Carroll knew something that we all did not and was glad to let him leave.
The hate for Russ right now is getting out of hand. Okay, I get the man is corny as all get out, and I like that because I like how that's his personality. Like,
oh my! But
like he's just a corny man.
But is it his personality?
At some point, it has to be.
I don't know if it is. I think he's just trying, but I don't think that is him at all. I mean, this dude
he goes to a children's hospital every Monday and just spends hours there with these sick children. He is not a bad guy. He is never. The hate for him is getting too personal.
Well, listen, I'm
surprised at how much he sucks.
It's not that I hate Russell. It's not that I hate him. I think he is a good guy, but it is the level of cringe that he brings to his life that I just I cannot do it. I cannot do it. Like, I can't tell if he is doing it because he knows that it's going to get him attention and build again his just reputation up, or if he is genuinely trying to be this person that he is not. It is just
it's so cringy.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't know. It's wild. Definitely my biggest surprise. And then I'd say my biggest disappointment is obviously how bad the Raiders have been and just the coaching of the Raiders. I feel like they make some decisions every game that I just shake my head at and I'm like, you're hurting your team. You're costing them games.
Yeah.
So,
which is kind of crazy. I mean, because, head coach, OC, former OC of the Patriots, it seems like he would be able to get into
Patriots. That Patriots coaching tree after Belichick just never seems to pan out.
Does not at all.
We'll see if it's too early to tell with him, but so far.
I'll say biggest surprise too. I mean, Keenan Allen still being out with this hamstring.
Dude, oh my goodness.
I don't know what the heck is going on with this guy, which I don't have him in fantasy, so I don't have much stake in him. But I mean, I want to see Herbert being able open it up and really start slinging the ball. I mean, I know he is. He's still making plays and making it happen.
Right, but Keenan Allen is a big loss.
Absolutely, especially everybody doubling down on Mike Williams and shutting that down. I mean, there's only so much Herbert can do. These other guys can do.
Yeah. So yeah, what is that? I saw a thing the other day. I'm like, Brian Robinson got shot and came back faster than Keenan Allen's coming back from his
absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't know what's going on there, but I am looking forward to seeing what ends up happening in this division. I mean, I think the Chiefs are going to win it, but that said, I mean, I don't put it past the Chargers, making a wild card and making some interesting things happening in the AFC.
Yeah, it's a fun division. All of these teams except for even the Broncos are fun in a way, in a gross way. They're kind of fun to watch. So,
for sure.
All right, let's move to the AFC North. What an absolutely boring division to me. I don't care about these teams.
Oh my goodness, what a take. I mean, all I'll say, I mean, there is the entertainingness. I
take it back. I think I might have to take that out of the podcast. I'm looking at this now. Ravens, Bengals, those are fun. Browns are always a story. Steelers, got Kenny Pickett now. I take it back. What's the next? No, I was thinking AFC South.
Yeah.
The next one. That's the one I was thinking of, not AFC North. That's my bad.
No, you're good.
You were like, what is he talking about? I was like,
wow. I mean, this is some strong convictions. I mean, you got a whole reality show going on with the Browns right now.
Oh, my gosh. As soon as the Browns have Deshaun Watson back, I'm going to be – they're my least favorite team.
What a guy. I mean, him and Zach Wilson are probably in the running with lowest character in the NFL right now.
I don't think you can put Zach Wilson with this guy.
I mean, listen.
Deshaun Watson had like 100 girls come out and say that he's.
I mean, but listen, if the allegations are true and Zach Wilson truly did, while he was dating, sleep with his best friend's mom, I mean, that's pretty low.
It's super low. I mean, it's so low, but it's not criminal.
That's true.
It's not criminal. Deshaun Watson has been a criminal to people, and he's getting rewarded.
Yeah,
Zach Wilson is just a really gross man, but Deshaun Watson is also gross and a criminal. So
yeah, I'll give you that.
It's not the same level, in my opinion.
I agree. I'll concede.
Still, what a dirtbag, both of them. All right, that's super personal. Let's move on to football.
Yeah, well, that said, I will say, going to the Ravens, I mean, listen, they're 3-2 right now, but I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. I know there's a lot of Lamar Jackson haters, but
I'm a fan too.
Yeah, I love his game. I mean, he's also doing things that Patrick Mahomes is doing in the ways, setting records and just absolutely
not as good, but yes.
Again, okay. Well,
where's the MVP? Oh, he's got one. Oh, where's the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, the playoff victories, the passing touchdowns, here's the thing. Lamar is great. I like. He
hasn't got his first contract yet. All right.
Yeah.
So we got to let him get that, and then really see what he can do with some
people who say he's not a quarterback, he can't throw, don't watch football.
No, yeah.
It's such a garbage take. It angers me.
Gabriel Gomez, if you're listening, Lamar Jackson is a quarterback. All right. No matter how you want to cut it, the dude can play QB and he can play well.
Yes. Now he may not be the most accurate. He is definitely NFL level accurate. He is a good quarterback.
Yeah, and I mean,
and he brings so many other things to the table that he doesn't need to be a pinpoint accurate quarterback. Now, if he could get that, it would step his game up. But
for sure, I mean,
already so high.
You have a safety blanket and a stud at tight end like Mark Andrews. I mean, it's hard to make a lot of mistakes, But that said,
something in common he's got with Mahomes too.
Right, but that said, he definitely made some mistakes this Sunday. I mean.
Oof, yeah.
Trying to be a little bit too of a superstar in some of those moments, and obviously cost them. But
this whole division is kind of a surprise at how mediocre all the teams are.
Yeah, I mean, even Bengals. I mean, obviously, were Super Bowl contenders last year, and they have just looked absolutely pitiful.
Their O-line
I feel
is
so
my
sorry.
biggest disappointment.
I feel so sorry for Joe Burrow, but
They
I
redid
also
the whole thing, and it's still garbage.
yes.
Like, how does that happen?
Listen, I am loving it just because Lyle Collins is having to eat all the smack that he was trying to talk about being the
Terrence
protector.
Steele, baby, all the way. I was
Exactly.
100% on Terrence Steele.
100%.
Former Red Raider. Let's go.
We didn't have to go back into college. All right, let's just take it for what he is. He's a Cowboy now. That's all we got to worry about.
He's both. He's two of my favorite teams. He's literally one of my favorite players.
Yeah, he is. He has stepped up though. He has definitely stepped up to the plate and has done well. But the Bengals, on the other hand, their line absolutely terrible. Just unfortunate because I do obviously like Joe Burrow too, and Mixon. I mean, had some struggles through his first few years in the NFL.
He also
and
might
been
be a
able to put
dirtbag.
it together. Yeah, that's well, some people had it coming.
Didn't he hit a woman though?
I mean, listen. There might have been some racist comments said to him that led him to that. So I'm obviously I'm not for any kind of domestic violence, but when you start bringing some of those into it, tempers get hot, and you better
throw those hands up.
Yep, exactly.
What a take! That's on the. I'm gonna put this on the internet. You know that, right?
Listen. I'm all against domestic violence. There's no way. But listen, you throw domestic violence in with ultimately it happening as a result of racist things. I mean, it's hard to
fair enough. What were you saying about? I just
no, yeah. I mean,
relayed your take there.
It's just disappointing to see that they're not the team that they were last year. They can't put it all together again, and because Joe Burrow is an entertaining person on and off the field, and again, Joe Mixon, the struggle that he had over the past few years, and then last year kind of being a breakout year for him, and kind of seeing some of the ebbs and flows of his season this year. And then just Jamar Chase out there, as well as T. Higgins. I mean, there were some studs last year, still some studs this year. I mean,
yeah, they're
definitely carrying the team with their 2 wins, but that said,
3, I think today made 2.
Oh yes, yeah, 3, 500 now, but just not what I expected to see from them.
Yeah, my biggest surprise is the Steelers' defense. It's just so weird to see them be so bad.
Yeah,
the Steeler name feels like it's a defensive team, and they're just really bad.
Absolutely.
So they never. It feels like they never have a chance because they're just never going to stop the opponent, and that's just odd. My favorite story is another former Cowboy, Amari Cooper. I've always been an Amari Cooper mega fan. I think because ever since he came to the Cowboys, I felt like Dak was a different quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a big part of that. And for us to trade him for a 5th rounder for no reason,
oh my gosh,
irked me beyond. I was so down on the Cowboys. You could hear it in the other podcasts I had with what we talked about.
Yeah.
I was just so down on the Cowboys, and I was just so frustrated with the moves we're making. And Amari is going to the Browns and being their number 1 receiver, and just he's making plays still. So it's good to see that. I'm glad he's able to show that. Hey, you shouldn't have traded me.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. With Dallas's front office, they put themselves in the situation where they have to do something that is as ridiculous as that was. A 5th round pick for him. I mean, that is just absolutely ridiculous. There's no team that was.
The Vikings gave more for Jalen Reagor.
Exactly.
Ugh.
But that said, I mean, he's having his success there, and for what it is, when Watson gets back, so I'm sure it'll pick up even more. But it's definitely.
And then I'll stop having to root for him, so that'll be a bummer.
Exactly.
All right, let's actually go to the division that I did mean to say that is super boring, and that's the AFC South. Got the Titans, the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Texans. Biggest disappointment for me is how bad Matt Ryan's been. He had a good game today, but he has just been. I really hoped that he would be able to have that season that he had for Atlanta when they went to the Super Bowl, because just for his sake, for his legacy, he needs something to happen.
Absolutely.
And he's been old.
Yeah, Matty Ice is no longer translating to Matty Clutch. It's translating to he needs to ice everything because his age is starting to show and he's struggling. But I agree. I would like to see him go out on top. And he's just one of those guys that's been around the NFL for a while, and kind of stayed under the radar, but is able to come up with some of the most clutch comebacks, that we've seen and take a team over. That said, he's also one that is known for one of the biggest fumbles
forever.
Yeah,
He'll be
exactly.
known forever as the
28-3.
Yeah, 28-3. Wow, man, that's tough.
Yeah,
glad I'm not a Falcons fan.
Absolutely,
and
I agree.
There's not many franchises that are worse than the Cowboys, but
easy.
At least not since we've been alive.
Easy.
Since we've been alive, dude, the Cowboys have been an emotional strain on my life.
Again, remember, I am born and bred a Cowboy fan, so if I say something, you might not see me again when I go back home and visit family. They might have it in for me.
You can't say anything but positives. That's amazing. Oh gosh, we're talking about the Cowboys, and it's the AFC South.
It's hard not to. Listen, again, this is just a division that is not very entertaining.
Oh gosh, what else is there even to talk about? The Jaguars are not good. I was kind of hoping Trevor Lawrence would have a bounce back year, and he's playing way better than he did last year.
Yeah,
but it's just not really translating to wins. He had a bad game, not this week, but last week. That really hurt him. So, he's interesting to keep an eye on. That team is young, and Christian Kirk is living up to his contract. And
absolutely young, and they have a new coach. They're still trying to figure out their system and all that. I mean,
they already look leaps and bounds better.
Yeah, the shambles that they are in with Urban Meyer, I mean, is definitely nothing compared to now where they're at. I mean, it's definitely, obviously, as you can see, a different team, different atmosphere, but there's a lot of work.
They're in every single game.
Yeah, exactly.
My biggest surprise might be that the Titans are still at the top after losing A.J. Brown and still having Tannehill as your quarterback, and Derrick Henry feels like he's on the start of his decline, but he's still good, and they're still good somehow. So that's kind of a surprise to me.
I mean, I guess it can be a reach of a surprise because, again, I mean, the division that they're in.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What competition do they really have at this point?
Yeah,
I mean, they're the most, I guess you could say,
stable
veteran team in that division. They've known who they are.
Maybe the biggest surprise should be that the Colts are bad.
Yeah,
I really thought the Colts would be. I mean, obviously I didn't think Carson Wentz was the only problem, but I thought he was a large majority of, even though when you watch the games, he was playing pretty well. He was just making those mistakes that were back-breaking mistakes, kind of like I referenced with Sanders for Oklahoma State. Right. Got anything else about this boring division?
I think I'm good there as well. I think we've said all about you can say.
Now let's go to the most exciting division, and surprisingly, maybe the best in football, NFC East.
Yes.
Got the Cowboys, got the Eagles, got the Giants, and got the Commanders.
Yep. What a division. What a turnaround of a division from last year being one of the worst.
Yeah.
Goodness, to be in.
It's early still.
It is early, but I think everybody around the NFL will definitely tell you that the Eagles, can be the real deal, as well as Dallas can actually be a contender for, I won't say necessarily right now, a Super Bowl spot, but I will say can actually make a run in the playoffs with the defense they have. And
we're going to do this song and dance again.
Listen, hey, I will say when we came into this, Dak going out the first game, I was ready to tank. I mean, I didn't see any hope with Cooper Rush at the helm. I mean, I was down
so
for the count.
Cooper.
But that said, with him coming in, winning 4 games, I mean, and seeing how our defense has played,
played
what else
well.
can we do? Yeah.
I mean, I'm super surprised by that. That would be my biggest surprise, is Cooper Rush not losing football games.
Yeah.
Good for him. I mean, it shows why, like, just being in a system for so long just really helps you know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
My favorite story is actually probably the Brian Robinson story, getting shot and then coming back so fast, and his entrance was so cool, even though there's no one in the stands to see it at the Commanders games.
I loved it. Coming out to Mini Men by 50 Cent. I mean, what a intro, and what a team. I mean, to like say, hey, listen, we want you, to take this and
run with it.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I loved it. On the field, the TV broadcast does not do it justice. You got to go look at the Commanders Instagram story to really get the behind the scenes and see it. I mean, obviously, don't care for the Commanders, don't care for the name Commanders. I mean, but that said, if there is one thing I enjoyed, it was that entrance and just him in general winning that starting spot and coming out. And obviously didn't get to do much this Sunday as far as production wise, but I'm looking forward to going forward, seeing what he's able to do in that backfield.
Yep. And I said biggest surprise is Cooper Rush just because I'm a Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
But the actual biggest surprise is the
Jalen
Giants.
Hurts. Oh, the Giants. Okay.
The Giants.
They are 5-1. I'll go with the Giants on that. I was gonna say Jalen Hurts just because I mean he has them at an
this whole
record.
division is a surprise. You're right.
That is true. But yeah, the Giants. Especially with again their head coach change. I mean Joe Judge. Yeah. I think somehow he was able to sneak in there. He wasn't an actual coach. I mean, I don't know how he ended up in that position.
Dude, what is going on?
But yeah, Dabble can coach some football, and listen, for all
apparently
that the Giants are, he's an entertaining coach to hear in his post game and all of his interviews that he gives, honestly, and just see the heart he has for that football team and that he really is building something that could be, another, again, strong NFC East as it was in the past. But we'll see.
For sure. And then biggest disappointment, Carson Wentz. He's a weird quarterback because I've always wanted to root for him, but he's always played against teams that I have to hate.
Exactly.
And when he went to the Colts, I was excited to root for him, and he was a roller coaster of a player. But at least he was a roller coaster. For the Commanders, I feel like he's just not been very good.
Yeah.
And I haven't got to watch a lot of Commanders games, but the ones that I have watched, it's just not been impressive at all. And I was singing his praises in the podcast also early, just because
the deep ball.
The deep ball, man. He's so good at throwing those. And it has been non-existent in this offense.
Yeah, no, and not at all.
When you have a receiver like Terry McLaurin and you're just not feeding him the ball, I mean, no wonder you're 2-5 or whatever you are. Like,
right.
No wonder you're not good. I don't know. It's super frustrating to watch. And
it is hard. I'm right there with you. I mean, he's just a stand-up guy, family man. I mean, loves his family. He loves being able to give back to the community that he's in, no matter whether that was Philadelphia, whether that was Indianapolis, and now obviously in Washington. I mean, he's always going to do what he can to reach out and help others. And interesting story as well. Carson Wentz actually met his wife on a mission trip in Haiti with an organization called Mission of Hope, which I actually went to a mission trip in Haiti with that same organization. So it was kind of cool to hear that story. Like, that's how he met. Wow. She was an intern for that Mission of Hope organization, and he went there on a mission trip, and that's how they met. So it's a cool story on that. Hopefully that's a true story. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, I'm spitting this out. Now I'm I should have fact checked this.
Yeah, definitely should have fact checked it, but I'm pretty sure that it is true. I mean, he still posts things about Mission of Hope on his Instagram, so surely there's a reason why he has such a dear connection to it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just hilarious. A stand-up guy, but it's hard to see that after the injury, coming back from that, he just hasn't been able to play the same.
Be an MVP again.
Exactly.
All right, NFC West. Got the 49ers, the Rams, the Cardinals, and Seahawks. My favorite story is Geno Smith, him 100%. Coming back. I remember that West Virginia team, and I didn't like him that much because we played against them, and it was one of Tech's biggest wins when we had old Tuberville. We beat them when they were ranked like 5th in the nation. We beat them by like 30 points, and ever since then, I was not high on Geno Smith. I was like, this guy's not as good as everyone's saying he is.
Yeah.
Came into the league, really didn't have a good shake of things. Like, I think he got drafted by, was it the Jets?
Yep, the Jets.
Yeah. So, I mean, just for him to be able to come back, his line that everyone's talking about now, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. Yeah. I'm like, that's pretty good, actually. It's oversaid now.
Listen, he stole it from Drake, but
yeah,
he
did.
Still good. It is still good.
So
I don't think he knew what he was going to say in that moment, honestly. I think it just like...
it just came out. He listens to Drake enough. He was like, you know what? I'm saying it.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to say it, and now I'm saying it.
It was hilarious. I watched that live, and I was just like, whoa, hold on, what? And he was just like so unconfident as he said it, but it has translated to one of the biggest baller statements there has ever been.
And I just love how good he's playing, and obviously the team's rallying around him, and I don't know. It's just cool to see a veteran quarterback get a second chance.
Yeah.
When normally people, they get drafted early, and if they don't do well, they're just gone.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So it's a cool kind of comeback, I guess.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's definitely one of my favorite stories about this division as well.
I'd say my biggest disappointment is Trey Lance's injury. I hate that for that guy.
I hate it for him, but I also think it was necessary, like for the 49ers to really figure out who that they are. I just didn't think that he was ready to come in and be their starter in the sense that, yes, he can play football, but I think they should have stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo a little bit longer and allowed Trey Lance to sit because you can obviously tell, that the team is way more comfortable with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback than they ever were with Trey Lance. I mean, I felt like they forced him into that position pretty quickly. You think otherwise?
You got to know what you got. And they spent a lot for him.
For sure.
Jimmy Garoppolo was not going to take them over. They've seen how far they can go with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
I think. Trey Lance was
factor. But they went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo.
And they think if they had Trey Lance at his peak, they are going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's what they think. Otherwise, they wouldn't have swapped. And the coaches, I think, know better than we do. And I just feel like Trey Lance was going to have an opportunity to grow as a starting quarterback. But do they? Did you just say, but do they?
I mean, I might have said it.
Us two guys talking on a podcast, a game designer and a minister, we know better than the guys who are working with them every day. I am just saying that I think that Trey Lance's injury is my biggest disappointment because I thought you get him working into this system well enough, they got weapons around him. That's a good team.
Yeah.
Trey Lance could potentially be the X factor for them, and it would have been fun to watch. He could have been like Jalen Hurts is this year to me, like that kind of player.
Yeah,
or maybe even better. I mean, I think Trey Lance has a higher ceiling.
That is.
I mean, Jalen Hurts has been great, but Trey Lance has a better arm. He's faster. He's just not as mature. Jalen Hurts has.
That's the whole thing. I mean, again, go into his maturity. I feel like I hear what you're saying.
How do you get mature though? You play the game.
But hey, you say play the game. What? Look at your quarterback, Mahomes. How long did he sit before he actually took over the reins? Was it a year or was it?
It was a year. It was a year.
I thought he said a year.
No, he said a year.
Was it just a year?
Okay. Yeah, and he even played a game and threw for like 400 yards, not a touchdown, but still everyone was like, okay, this is the guy actually.
I'll give you that. I thought for some reason I've always had it in my head that he sat longer than just a season. But that said, again, Trey Lance did not have the hype, coming out of. I mean, he definitely had hype for sure.
He had the hype.
Obviously coming out of college football, but everybody knew.
He got picked higher than Mahomes.
He got picked higher than Mahomes, but the Mahomes, everybody was saying was a generational talent. I mean, the way that he was.
What draft were you watching?
What do you mean? I mean, that's
dude. When the Chiefs picked Mahomes, number 10, people were dogging them so much. They're like, this guy out of Texas Tech is not good. He is unproven. He is undisciplined. He throws interceptions.
Rightly so. I'm saying though, once he got into the Chiefs system and people began to see. When people were like, oh, this kid can like really play some football. Like we got to really pay attention to what's going on here. And obviously, again, what's going to take place when Alex Smith is done. But yeah, so that's that. I mean, yes, Trey Lance had the hype coming out of the draft. I for some reason, I just don't think that they should have put him in that situation yet. Maybe, if Jimmy Garoppolo started to unfold and it wasn't working out for them, put him in and let him take the reins for the rest of the year, like a Kenny Pickett situation.
I just hate that we'll never know.
I agree, but I just didn't think it was going to work for him this season. But we will truly never know. We'll just have to wait until next season to see what he really has.
Hopefully he comes back the same.
Right.
Biggest surprise for me is how bad Arizona's offense has been. It has been boom or bust, and a lot of times it's bust.
Again, it's not shocking when the new Call of Duty is getting ready to drop, and that's what Kyler's doing in his downtime.
That's such a cheap shot. I can tell you that.
I mean, I enjoy watching Kyler Murray. He's also one that's, kind of like a Lamar Jackson that a lot of people don't give him enough credit for how good he is. But this season, it has not been a very good look at his talents. He's just struggled so much. I don't know what's going on. but it is not. It is not good.
He has flashes, but yeah,
For
there's just
sure.
something. There's something going on, obviously, and it sucks because it's probably my third favorite team, just because Kingsbury's the coach and they have a lot of former Red Raiders. So
Mm-hmm.
I hope they can turn that around. But that's just been super surprising to me because I always thought Kyler Murray at least has the talent to keep all the games competitive and keep them close. But it's really been their defense that's helped them stay in games and not their offense.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we got the Vikings, Packers, Bears, and Lions. You got a favorite story, biggest disappointment, surprise? What you got?
I mean, favorite story. I don't know if, it's necessarily my favorite story, but it is a story that is entertaining. And just to see that Kirk Cousins is at the top of this division with Aaron Rodgers, like that
That's
is
great.
it is great.
I like Kirk. He's also corny, but in a more endearing way to me.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite story. You got one that you're thinking about?
Man, I don't. With this division, I guess it might be Kirk, but this is another one. I mean, honestly, if I'm a hater, I would say my favorite story is just how bad the Packers are playing.
Agree.
I am not an Aaron Rodgers fan at all, and
No way,
he's
shape,
breaking
or
the
form.
hearts of Cowboys too many times for me to like him, and he's a weirdo. And so it's just like it's fun to watch him struggle.
Yeah. I can't throw him in the same boat as Zach Wilson or Deshaun Watson because he hasn't done necessarily those things. But I just think the guy is just not a team player at times. Like he can just be too prideful, and like I just feel like him and LaFleur have some deep relationship issues where LaFleur is trying, but Aaron Rodgers just thinks he is too good to take any coaching from that man. I mean, I just on the sidelines, like seeing their interactions. I saw a clip today, like live. I won't say a clip; it was live of LaFleur going to him, and he had the iPad, and he was kind of trying to talk him through what they could do to make it happen. And bro, Aaron Rodgers was just like looking, but you could see that he was not paying attention, and like he even gave a side eye at one point to a guy standing next to him and was just like kind of smiling. I'm like, bro, this dude has no respect for his coaching staff. Like it's just not going to work if he continues in this mindset. And this is just me shooting from the hip, kind of trying to figure out what's going on because I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's one of the best QBs
so talented,
there is, but goodness, you lose to the Jets, and again, give the Jets credit. They are turning that organization around. But that said, I mean, that type of loss really kind of shows that this is not the Green Bay of old.
100%. Biggest surprise for me, Lions offense. They're good. It's not translating to wins, but they're good.
Yeah.
They got weapons.
Good. Yeah, I mean, Dan Campbell, this guy knows how to coach some football, and he loves the game. I mean, obviously, you got the Hard Knocks documentary surrounding them, and I mean, there's plenty of people who have raved about being able to watch it. But that said, they just cannot make it happen in regards to wins. I mean, that was even the thing last season. I mean, they came down to so many nail biters last season, and it seems to be the same thing this. And I'm like, man, I want them to be good. Not the biggest Jared Goff fan, but I'm not necessarily against them for any reason. But I think that they can probably find somebody better, to step up to the plate. But he hasn't been playing bad again. I mean, he's able to score points.
That's why. So I'm surprised. I'm like, I feel like Goff got done dirty. Obviously,
I think he did as well.
And so I kind of root for him in that sense of like, I hope he can help dig the Lions out. I think that would be really cool.
Absolutely.
Just be a cool story. I don't know if he can do it, but the offense has been not the problem. Know? So that's kind of fun to see. Lions are kind of just a fun team to root for because of how bad they've been. And
for sure.
Moving on to NFC South, got the Buccaneers, the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers. Last division to talk about. My favorite story is how bad Baker Mayfield is. I am a Baker Mayfield hater. Dude is not a fun guy. Well, he's kind of a fun guy actually. I love his commercials and stuff. I have deep-seated hatred for his college days. So I just love watching him fail over and over and over and over. And I root for him a little bit so that he doesn't lose his job because I love rooting against him so much. It's so much fun.
Let's kind of dissect this a little bit though.
Okay, yeah.
Why is it though that you hate his college years? What's really deep rooted in that?
So he walked on to Texas Tech because Cliff Kingsbury was there.
Exactly.
Cliff Kingsbury made him the starter.
Right.
He got hurt. Cliff Kingsbury put Davis Webb in at the time. Davis Webb went off, played really good. Then Mayfield the next game thought he was just going to get his job back, but they split carries, or they split time, and
Mm-hmm.
Baker and Davis Webb outplayed Baker Mayfield. So then Baker Mayfield quit trash talk Tech a lot, then talked about Cliff Kingsbury being a terrible coach, and he benched him because he was injured and not because of the things he did. And Baker Mayfield's dad said a lot of trash, and it's been a long time, so I don't remember all the stories. I just remember they just talk so much smack about Texas Tech. And then he goes to OU and pretends like he's some underdog, some sob story, and then he's playing on this team full of absolute NFL talent, one of the best lines that OU's ever seen. He's got skill players all around him, and he's out there holding his junk, acting like he's the hottest stuff in the world, winning the Heisman because everyone else is carrying his sorry butt. And then when he gets to the pros, then it shows like, oh, he's good. He's good. He's obviously a good football player, but he's not the number 1 overall pick. He's not the hot stuff. Joe Burrow is what everyone wanted Baker Mayfield to be. Baker Mayfield is he's just not it. But I love watching him not be it. I love it. I love it. All the interceptions he throws, my shoulder hurts now. I suck because my shoulder, And I just, that dude gets under my skin. So it's been good. And he went to the Panthers to prove everyone wrong, and instead he's just proved everyone right that he's just trash. So that is my favorite story. I love that.
At Leisure Podcast listeners, you've heard it here. Brett can get fired up when you ask him about Baker Mayfield, so you are welcome. I already knew how he felt about him, but I just wanted everybody to really experience how much this man dislikes Baker Mayfield. But I will tell you, my job in this moment is to always continue to hype Baker Mayfield up. Listen,
yeah, go ahead and hype him. What are you going to say? What can you say?
The man is an entertainer. I mean, listen. I just love people. I love players like that, which, again, I will say, dude is absolutely not doing anything that is entertaining in the sense of football, but his competitive nature and just the things that come out of his mouth at times, though I will say he has grown a lot in maturity. You can tell in his post-game interviews, especially after a loss. But that said, watching him in college was just such an entertaining thing at OU and seeing the way that he treated the other teams, the opposing teams.
I was simmering the whole time. Just blech.
But I mean, listen, I'm right there with you. That is a real thing, and he's definitely not good.
So that could be favorite story or biggest disappointment, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
My biggest surprise is probably that the Buccaneers, their record, that they're just a mediocre team right now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it shouldn't be surprised because of all the Tom Brady stuff that's happening and this distraction that is.
Yeah.
But he's still Tom Brady, and the Buccaneers still have so much talent. It's just really hard to see how they could be a 500 team. So
absolutely. I mean, obviously not to get into his personal life. I mean, that's all things going on behind the scenes that we have no idea about. But I definitely will say I think it has affected his play, whether he would admit it or anybody would. I mean, I think it is a real thing that is clearly seen in the way that he's playing football. And it just doesn't seem like the same, for lack of a better term. I don't know if anybody would ever describe Brady as explosive, but definitely just not at the level of competitiveness that he has.
Sharp,
obviously known for.
Crisp.
Exactly.
Yeah, just
exactly.
The line hasn't protected him as well, and he kind of seems a little unhinged right now, and he's screaming a lot more. I don't know. I hope things are not as bad as everyone makes them out to be. But
right. I mean, would you say that you would have said, hey, just go out on top and he should have stayed retired?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's hard to say that. It's just these guys are just wired so different than the regular person.
Absolutely.
That it's hard to know what they're going to do.
Right.
So, another big disappointment for me is the Marcus Mariota, Kyle Pitts connection.
Mm-hmm.
Mariota's playing okay, and I think that he's playing about as we expected. But golly, throw it to Kyle Pitts, man. That guy's a monster, and you were just not using him.
Yeah. Such an unfortunate thing. I mean, the hype around Kyle Pitts, just like you said, dude is a monster, massive. One of those freak players that you just don't get, in a draft, but every so often. And so that said, it is just unfortunate that we're not being able to see what he really can do in a type of offense. That said, Atlanta system, as far as coaching and all of that, has kind of been in shambles over the past couple of years, trying to figure out who that they are. And and who they want to go with in that position. So it's kind of an unfortunate circumstance that Mariota, was traded there and is kind of having to be put through the ringer throughout
I'm
all
glad
of
he's getting a
this.
second chance though,
Yeah,
and
I'll
he's not
agree.
blowing it. He's not blowing it yet.
No, definitely not.
He's just kind of holding them afloat though. So I was really hoping he'd pop off and
Right.
like redeem himself and be that Heisman football player.
Yeah.
We're about a quarter way through the regular season, so we'll just jump into who our early season leaders for the awards are. We'll start with MVP. Who you got?
I mean, I would say right now MVP, the level of play that he's playing at. I mean, it's probably going to be yours as well. I'm right there with Josh Allen. I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to argue right now with the way that they're playing, as well as looking at the all the other top teams in the NFL. I mean, he's just playing at such a higher level. Obviously Mahomes is up there as well as far as QB and being able to take a team, and doesn't matter if they lose anybody, they're still going to be an explosive team. But with that being said, I mean, Josh Allen, they just beat them, and I mean, I think this can be the year that they make it and they take it all the way. He's just a stud, and I mean, gosh, this dude is just so fun to watch. This just hurdling people, putting his head down, running through people, making some unbelievable throws on the run. I mean, he is just all out a
freak athlete
player. Yeah, and just and such a great story of his recruiting and college, or his
Wyoming,
his lack thereof of recruiting of a college, and the way that he got the Wyoming position and all that, or the scholarship. And so he's definitely my front runner right now for MVP.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he's the best player on the best team. And he's one of those, I always used to think that you couldn't teach accuracy. I used to think that was something that in college, if you had it, then you were going to have it in the pros. And if you didn't, then you weren't going to have it. But Josh Allen is one of those guys where somehow he was taught accuracy. Like, this dude he's complete. He's just such a more polished player now than he ever was, even in his first few years. And
right.
So he's fun to watch. And I wanted to pick Pat here. I was going to pick Pat if he won the game today. But since he lost, I mean, you got to go with Josh Allen. It was those two guys, 1 and 2. And I think whoever won was going to be the front runner. And
yeah, for sure.
He outplayed him, as much as it hurts me to say. Who you got for Offensive Player of the Year?
Offensive Player of the Year. This is one where, it kind of can be up and down, trying to figure out who really deserves this. Obviously front runner, for most people is going to be Cooper Kupp, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad pick. But Jalen Hurts can also be in the run for Offensive Player of the Year. I mean,
sure.
Has an undefeated record right now. Just be a really, really good defense. And so that said, if he's able to really start making some big throws and showing that, he doesn't have to be so reliant on a good run or a good run game, and I think he can be in the talks for that. I would say he's not necessarily a sleeper, because I definitely think he has definitely awarded some conversations for him to be in it, but one that we can definitely pay attention to. And then obviously you got someone like Stephon Diggs, obviously on the best team. He's doing some good things and getting his numbers up there. So we'll see what happens with that.
Hurts even has MVP. He's got MVP talks. Like, he could be the MVP. He's playing so good.
I think he can. I don't want to say
he just doesn't look as good. Like, the eye test, you see Jalen Hurts play, and you see Josh Allen play, and you see Patrick Mahomes play, and you say even he is Lamar clearly Jackson, the worst of the three.
You put Lamar Jackson up there. I think Lamar Jackson has a better chance at winning MVP than
if. Like I said, I think Josh Allen's the best player on the best team. But right now, the Eagles are the only undefeated team, and he is a big reason why. So my pick would be Cooper Kupp. I don't know if he is the front runner for a lot of people, but this year the guy's got 56 receptions through week 6. It's the most in NFL history, and he's asked to be the offense for the Rams, probably even more than last year, where he set records and was just amazing.
Well, that's where I get the whole front runner thing. I mean, he's coming off a Triple Crown season. Only him and Calvin Johnson were able to do that. And so that said, when he's still able to play,
I guess
not necessarily, the production level that he was at last season, but again, carrying that, I think we don't want to put it past him to be the player capable of being an Offensive Player of the Year.
All right. And then I bet we have the same guy for Defensive Player of the Year.
Absolutely.
Micah Parsons, baby.
Micah freaking
keeping us afloat.
Parsons. What a stud of a player that the Cowboys got. Oh my goodness. One of the I think one of the most electric players in the NFL right now. Easily. I mean, listen, put him in the MVP conversation.
If the Cowboys end up doing anything,
Yeah.
then absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's single-handedly a defense for us sometimes.
My goodness.
Coming into the game today, he had 6 sacks. Was leading, which led the NFL. It was tied. He had 28 pressures on the season, average time of 2.19 seconds to pressure, which ranks first in the league. Like, the guy just gets on the quarterback almost immediately. It's so much fun to watch.
So much fun. I mean, he has a motor that does not stop. He is ready to play football, and it doesn't matter what's going on, whether he's injured or not. He's going to play through it, and he is going to go 110% every snap. Just crazy.
Just awesome. I hope he wins it. He deserves it. I hope the season continues the way it is right now for him and just pushes him further. All right, who you got for Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Offensive Rookie of the Year. Man, I haven't really given much thought to this one, and so I'm probably going to lean on, something that you've probably already discussed, and well, I say you've probably discussed. You definitely have talked about it, but Breece Hall is definitely looking like he rightly been put in that conversation. The way that he's been able to come in and take over, in that starting spot for the Jets. The dude can run the ball, because he wasn't a first-round pick, right?
No, second round.
Yeah, second-round pick.
He was the first running back off the board, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, he is coming in, and he's definitely making an impact on that Jets team.
That offense is so surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole team is, but the offense is just – and he's got 391 rushing, 218 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. Like, They had to make him the starter because he's just been playing so well. It was him or Dameon Pierce because that guy is the Houston offense right now.
Yeah. I haven't got to watch.
His preseason hype has carried over into the season.
Right. Yeah, I haven't got to watch much Houston football, but I've definitely, obviously, in fantasy, seen what he's been able to do as far as putting up the numbers.
So I think we're both in agreement with Breece Hall. Who you got for Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm pretty sure we're going to be on the same page too, just because he is such
you're killing me.
Such a lockdown. Listen, I mean, what am I supposed to say when he is playing at the level he's playing at, especially at the corner position? I mean, Sauce Gardner is just absolutely taking, I won't say it by storm because the hype for him was hype. I mean, it was all out there, and he is just showing that he is the person who is going to really cause some problems for some receivers going through the years.
He is. If you have a good corner, it changes the dynamics of an entire team.
Absolutely.
He's not the quarterback level change to the team, and he might not even be the linebacker edge rusher type that Parsons changed the team.
Mm-hmm.
But you shut down a half of the football field, it just makes it so hard for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like if you can get 2 of those guys, you're almost guaranteed a playoff spot and a likely Super Bowl appearance.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how much a corner can make a difference. And the Jets are obviously good for multiple reasons, but he's a big part of it. And opposing quarterbacks have just a 77 passer rating against him this season going into the game today. I bet it's even lower now.
Yeah.
He had broken up 6 passes and had an interception, and he played really good today. So, I mean, he's fun to watch. I would have picked him. I would have picked him as the first DB off the board, and I know he wasn't. Watching him at Cincinnati, he had unreal numbers. Literally, he never gave up a touchdown.
Yeah, that's
insane.
Insane. I mean, again, so that said, with that hype coming in, and then it being able to translate over into the NFL as a rookie, I mean, how can you not have him at the front? He is just absolutely a stud.
And then the next one I think we'll agree with too. Coach of the Year, it's got to be Brian DeBall, right?
Yeah, he's again changing that organization again from the shambles that it was last year with the absolute. I mean,
they had nothing.
Who the heck was Joe Judge? I mean,
I know it's like
was asking the question, where did this guy come from? Like, there must have been some kind of New York mafia things going on where they needed to have some games lost, and they were like, we're gonna put you in this position.
Have you ever played football before?
Yeah, exactly. and you better F up or else we're going to take your head. Like,
But I mean, I didn't even think that until this year because I thought they didn't have talent. Like, who were the receivers on their team?
that's
You know,
true.
their line is bad. Daniel Jones is always getting under pressure. Daniel Jones is their quarterback, and for the whole time I've watched him, I'm like, is he good? Is he good? I can't tell. Is he good?
Yeah.
And I would have said probably no, but this year I'm like, well, maybe. I mean, maybe he just needed a competent coach.
Yeah.
You know, that does help a quarterback a ton.
Absolutely.
So he's got to be coach of the year. The Giants are 5-1, and the Giants looked like they had no future. Like they just looked stagnant. Like they weren't getting good picks. They were just like had no. It felt like they had no future. Like
and then especially with,
and then they're 5-1 for the first time since 2009, and he just had nothing to work with. I don't know how he's doing this.
Well, you get Saquon back, and that's a huge.
You're right.
Huge
that's how he's doing it.
Yeah, Saquon's back, and he's back to the Saquon that we knew he was going to be coming into the NFL. He's showing that he is an explosive back, and that he can truly take over a game whenever he wants. That said, biggest disappointment on that team, Kenny Golladay. I mean, what the heck?
Oh my gosh!
What the heck?
Oh my goodness!
My goodness, and such an unfortunate loss too, because I was
talking about the Cowboys being stupid.
Yeah, I was excited to see what Sterling Shepard was going to be able to do, but with him going out, it's kind of unfortunate.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, who are their receivers?
Yeah.
How are they?
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty obvious coach of the year so far, quarter way through the season. It'll be interesting to see how it all shapes out. And,
I mean,
I love college football, but pro football is definitely my second favorite sport to watch. So
for sure,
I mean, it's just it's a great time too.
Yeah. And I'll
fantasy makes it more fun, and it makes it more fun for me. I don't know about you, probably, but
yeah. I'll even put Nick Sirianni in that whole thing. I mean, obviously undefeated right now.
True.
He's well deserved of some praise there with what he's been able to do. Although he's been there, obviously a couple of years now.
And that team has got talent.
No,
I mean, you give me AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, that line,
Jalen Hurts.
I'll win a few games.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I won't do as good as Sirianni, but I'm just saying, like, the difference between the team that he has and the team that the Giants have, to me, is just crazy for them to be so close.
Yeah, and I'll say one of my favorite coaches, though, Mike McDaniels. Love that dude. He is just so entertaining to watch in interviews. And I mean, I would have put him, I don't know. I would have put him as coach of the year if, obviously, Tua didn't go out.
What a goofy looking dude for a goofy looking coach.
Dude, and like his approach to the way that he does things is just hilarious. But I love him. I mean, he is an entertaining dude. He knows how to motivate his team, even though he is corny. Like, it is just so fun.
Okay, so that's a level of corny you like, as long as you're not Russell Wilson.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, it doesn't feel like Mike McDaniels is putting on a facade and doesn't know who he is. Again, Russell Wilson, I'm not sure if he knows exactly who he is. This is just who Mike McDaniels is. This is his personality. This is his character.
It's funny because Russ has been doing this a long time. I think this might be who Russ is. Mike McDaniels, he's new to the corny game. Or, well, at least in the national spotlight.
Right. I mean, listen, you can say that Russ has been doing this for a while, but I feel like it has taken a big leap in the past couple of years with some of the things that Mr. Unlimited, like, oh my goodness.
Let Russ cook.
Let Russ cook. The Let's Ride. Like, he has stepped it up a notch.
He can't turn it off. Man.
Yeah.
They lose that terrible game, and he says Let's Ride at the podium. I'm like, the guy's all in. I love how all in he is. He's like, this is who I am.
I hate it so
Look,
much.
Everyone hates it. I did hate it, but I'm starting to come around to be like, I hate how much hate he's getting for being not the, like, other guys deserve hate. Richard Sherman defended Deshaun Watson, but hates Russell Wilson.
Well,
that bothers me. That's the feeling I'm getting from everybody. And I'm like, okay, we got to stop this. We got to stop whatever this is.
Let's unpack that a little bit. The reason why Richard Sherman is at that point is because Russell could have just called an audible at the line in that Super Bowl.
I know.
The ball to Marshawn Lynch, and Richard Sherman would have been the biggest Russell Wilson fan there ever was. But because he did not do that, it's all.
But there's some narrative that he audibled. Like, it was clearly the coach's decision.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the coaches owned up to it. So it's like
Yeah.
it's not even Russell Wilson's fault. Why is he hating Russell Wilson?
That's what I'm saying. Even though the coaches made that decision, I guess Richard Sherman thought he should have called an audible and said, "Screw it, I'm giving this to Marshawn."
I mean, clearly something's up because his ex-teammates don't like him, and his current teammates aren't coming out to defend him. So
yeah,
I mean,
something's DK up loves him though. DK loves that man.
Does he?
Yeah, DK and Russell, they are so tight.
Huh. Well, good.
There you go.
Good. Russell needs a friend because the world hates him right now, and I don't know why.
Yes, you do know why.
He's a bad quarterback, and everyone's just been waiting for him to be bad now, so they pile on, I guess.
And he is the cringiest person there ever is.
Who cares? Everyone's cringy. There's so many cringy things that happen. Did you see Mojo moment for Mike McCarthy? I was like, ugh, ugh. Everything's cringy. People are cringy, and it's fine. I don't know why they hate Russ now. We're going on a tangent. I think we should wrap the show up.
Yeah, probably. Russell is cringe.
We're pushing 2 hours. Dude, thanks so much for being on. It was a good time. We'll definitely have to have you on again if this didn't scare you off. But
absolutely.
Got anything? Any last words before we sign off?
Last words.
Want to plug anything?
I won't plug anything, but I will say I am just wanting to give me this self-proclaimed title. Also a title that's, I mean, many have also crowned me. But I am the number one GIF sender. So if you ever need any ideas and you find me across social media, just let me know and I can coach you up to the best that I can.
The LOL JK meme, the GIF, it is synonymous with you. Right now.
Yeah, Zach Galifianakis in due date. Oh my goodness, that is the JK LOL meme that I will always fall back on. Just so much greatness in that.
All right, well, thanks again, man, for being on, and everyone listening, if you've stuck with us this long, please give us a 5-star rating and share and all that stuff. Thanks again for listening, and catch you next time. Later.